Hello and welcome to episode number 173 of the TEW Challenge run. Fuck, it's been about a week since I did this. There's a part of it's because I've still been planning shit, and part of it is because I've been busy doing other stuff, which may or may not see stuff about popping up here and there over the next couple of weeks or days or whatever, but we haven't decided yet. But it's been fun, and it's sort of taken my mind off TEW. Maybe I've had a little bit of a break, need a little bit of a break without me realising it. But we're going to jump straight into cold open of the show because, well, the shoot reason is because the intro video is not done. But what do? You pivot. So we're going to have a cold open, and I think it makes sense to have a cold open on this show. So we're going to start with a video recap of the main event of Night 1, which was, of course, the Roman Reigns, Usos, Seth Rollins match, which saw Roman Reigns turn his back on his Shield brother, turning heel and aligning with the Usos, his family, to help them retain the SmackDown Championships. And then we immediately cut from that clip to Adam Pearce is watching it on the in the TV in his office. And Kayla walks in. He's like, Pearce, have you got any words for what we saw in the main event of Night 1 and what that means for SmackDown going forward? And Pearce is like, I wanted to discuss it with Reigns himself, but he's apparently not arrived at the building yet, so if you could be our little on-site reporter, and you could maybe catch a words with Roman Reigns for that disgraceful act he showed in the main event of SummerSlam, Kayla. And she's like, okay, well, I do have other stuff to do, but I'll look into it. And then Pearce watches her leave and is like, yeah, we'll get something out of Roman. So Pearce promising words from Roman Reigns here tonight. The actual opening of SmackDown cuts to the ring where Indy, Dana and Mickey are in the ring, and they introduce the new SmackDown Women's Champion for the third time, Queen Sasha. And Sasha comes to the ring and she's like, well, I hate to say I told you so, but I really don't hate to say it because a lot of you seem to still doubt me after all this time, but even after winning Queen of the Ring, you thought, oh, maybe Bayley's going to nick the championship, maybe Sonya's going to get to keep it, but no, here I am, Queen Sasha, still on top of the game, and this title once again proves it. Now, this is only the first step here. Now I've got my championship back, and I've got my girls by my side. This is only the beginning, and we've got our eyes on tag team goals. If Shotzi and Ember want to come out here and accept our challenge, they'll feel free to do so. And of course, Shotzi and Ember do come out because they're babyface. Like, we won these titles and we said we'd take on any challenges, and that counts all the women we've already beaten, and we've beaten you guys a fair amount before in the past. But hey, if you want a championship opportunity, you need to come and take it from us because you know where to find us. So I was like, that's nice, but first you've got to do something for me, okay? I'm on top of this division, and you gotta do as I say, because I run this yard. I can make you or break you. And then she just holds her crown and is like, you gotta kiss my crown. And Shotzi and Ember just look at each other like, no, we're not gonna do that. She's like, well, you're not gonna do it, I guess we'll have to force you to do it. Then the three boss girls attack Shotzi and Ember. Then Sonya Deville runs out to make the save. Impromptu 6-woman tag team match player. 78 it gets. The babyfaces pick up the win. Sonya submits Dana Brooke with the whatever ankle locks, whatever she uses. 41 for Dana Brooke, 53 for Indy, 69 for Mickey, 73 for Sonya, 76 for Ember, and a 69 for Shotzi. We then cut to the ring where, oh shit, that's a good rating. The Street Profits and Bianca Belair are celebrating their monumental victory at SummerSlam, where they teamed with YouTube and rapping sensation KSI to defeat Bivens Enterprises. They're like, well, things are looking up. We still had our little detour. We got to rub shoulders with KSI. We'll be all over the YouTube channel. We'll be all over the news. But it's time to focus on what me and Dawkins want and what Bianca wants, and that's championship opportunities. And we don't know where the path will take us, but the Usos, they've still got them championship of gold. And Bianca wants to get her women's championship back. She's beaten Sasha for it once before. She's more than willing to do it again. And then Andrade and Zelina, who have been superstar shake-up to SmackDown, away from the other two, Swerve and Escobar. They come out And they're like, look at this. This is what's wrong with this company. I thought on Raw that we had it rough when Ricochet and Garza and Raquel, they were a team of Bad Bunny. But I come over here and you're doing the exact same thing that they were doing. You allowed this nobody, this celebrity, to step into our world and hand them a free victory, but it's not truly earned because stars like Andrade have to take a back seat while these celebrities run around in the ring. And no more of that. No more Bad Bunny, no more KSI. And what you can do about that, hun? Bianca slaps Zelina in the face like, girl, don't speak to my man like that. And then a catfight breaks out between the two. Profits have got to pull Bianca off. And Andrade's got to hold Zelina back. 87 promo from Drew Gulak. Jesus. The new United States champion is here. He talks about how somebody looks like Drew Gulak and acts like Drew Gulak. He was never meant to make it here in WWE. He was always told he'd just be the good little hand. He'd be the cruiserweight guy. He'd be the guy you send in there against the debutants to make them look good. And we'll get to that quickly in a second. But through adversity and through fighting and scratching and clawing, he was able to capture the United States Championship. And you deserve it. Clap, 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 clap. All that. And Gulak's like, well, the grind doesn't stop here. Now, it's one thing to win the title, it's another thing to keep a hold of it. And like I said, I was told my whole life I'd be that one guy that makes these new debutants look strong as they ascend up the ranks here in WWE. Well, I beg to differ. And I issue out an open challenge. This isn't going to be the new United States Open Challenge, because I think that's been overdone throughout the years, but this is going to be my opportunity to put somebody on the map. Somebody from Raw who's now looking to make a mark here on SmackDown. And it's answered by Dio Madden, of all people. And he quickly cuts a promo. He's like, I came into WWE, I made alliances, I quickly got part of the Hurt Business, and as much as that did help me make a name for myself and establish myself on this brand and this roster, it did sort of make me feel like a background bit piece. And I've now been drafted away from the Hurt Business and away from Lashley and MVP. And I'm going to stand on my own 2 feet. It's time to see what I can do as a single star. So consider your challenge accepted. The match gets a 76. That's actually pretty good. Drew Gulak, but he does beat Dio Madden in 6 minutes and 8 seconds with a fast roll. It says fast roll up, but it is like, I say this every time, it's like a fancy cradle. It's not an actual fast roll up. It's just how Gulak wins his matches in my world. And he makes defense number 1 of the US title. 84 for Gulak, 67 for Dio. But after the match, the static hits, and Ali sort of looking there, shaking his head. He's like, I feel naked without my championship. After all my hard work, everything I did, from shocking the entire landscape of WWE, I even beat Triple H at WrestleMania. I quit. They didn't value any of us, and we still made this statement. This wasn't how it's supposed to end. It wasn't supposed to end at all. None of this was supposed to happen. And Gulak now runs around thinking he owns the yard. Thinking that he's got one over and thinking that this message is now abolished. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Because all you've done now is piss us off. And this message will still be delivered. It still needs delivering. And I will still be the man to do it. On my terms. Quick hype segment for Subculture, the group. Morgan Webster, Danny Luna and Mark Andrews. Coming to SmackDown because we needed another babyface tag team. / Midcard babyface woman. And this seemed to fit the bill. It's an interesting group. And it helps really create that new dynamic of seeing new people on the shows for heading into season 4. Like, to help my rosters stand out from, like, all the other rosters on YouTube. Because everyone's got their own unique booking strategy, everyone's got their own unique roster, everyone's got their own unique everything, and I just think I've given enough chances to other people already. It's time to phase them out and bring in new ones. Speaking of bringing in new faces, Dijakovic, he scores a victory over Mansoor in 5 minutes and 10 seconds with the Feast Your Eyes. 62 for Dijakovic, 40 for Mansoor. They don't click, which sucks. But it does prove that they are both working higher than this. But I had 6 minutes to kill. So Dijakovic picks up a big win over... Well, not a big win, but a win over Mansoor. Bivens Enterprises then cut a vignette. And Bivens is in the front. He's mixed emotions. He says that obviously SummerSlam was an awful night for Bivens Enterprises. And Chad Gable, he wanted to go off on Raw and he wanted to open up this Alpha Academy and he wanted to do his own thing. And we much love to Chad. We let him go and hopefully we can cross paths again someday and make a big coalition. But if you want your path taken to the top, and I know you may be thinking, but Malcolm Bivens hasn't taken any one of these to the top. In fact, they've actually sort of stayed stagnant this last few months, but that all changes. We were humble at SummerSlam. No more. And if you either get on board with this, or you get left behind, but this is the ultimate business proposition to anyone out there. Join Bivens Enterprises. We've got a spot going, and who's going to take it, if anybody? Kayla being cut to Kayla. She's outside Roman's locker room. She's knocking on his door. It says Roman Reigns in a big sign. She's knocking on it, but no one's answering. She's like, Roman, hello, are you here? I've heard rumours that Roman Reigns is inside, but I can't seem to get an answer. I'll keep you posted for any more updates. Back to you, Cole, and I can't remember who my SmackDown announcers are. I guess Mauro and Nigel. Yeah, back to you, Mauro, Nigel. We then cut to the ring. Bobby Roode is there. Glorious. No, I won't give in till I'm victorious. He's dressed to the nines. He's in his suit. And he's bragging. He says, you know, everybody didn't think I was going to do it. Dolph Ziggler, he's good. Make no bones about it, but his time had come and gone. It was time to put old Yeller out to pasture, and I was the one who did that. It didn't feel good. This is a guy who really helped me find my feet here in WWE when we formed that team. But once you know, and I knew I'd eclipsed him. So I'm moving on to bigger and better things, while Ziggler is... Who knows what he's going to do? Maybe he got full time to do his awful comedy now, because he's not going to be wrestling around here anytime soon. And Cesaro interrupts. And he's like, you know... I've noticed a lot of the times I start and I say, hey, he's like, you know... But I've just noticed it then. Cesaro's like, Dolph Ziggler maybe he's been a bit of an asshole at times, but his passion for this business remains unloved. And it's something I've actually admired about him for a long time. You see, me and Dolph, we're very much cut from a similar cloth, and we've both been overlooked. We've both been the best we can possibly be, and not take no as an answer, and not be held down by people who don't want us where we are. And to see you just kick him to the curb like this wasn't how his story was supposed to end, is it, Roode? Dolph Ziggler was supposed to make it to the top. I'm sure he made it to the top when he cashed in Money in the Bank, but he didn't get to stay there. This isn't the end of Dolph Ziggler's story. But if you keep running your mouth, it will be the end of yours. And Roode's like, oh, you don't scare me. Cesaro, look, you are very much like Dolph Ziggler. The fact that neither of you are main event caliber. You're looking at a main event caliber talent right here. Bobby Roode, the glorious one. You and Ziggler, like Drew Gulak was saying earlier on, you are just a good hand. You're never going to be on my level, you hear me? And of course he starts getting in Cesaro's face, and Cesaro sort of like looks away, smiling, and the crowd is cheering because they know what he's implying. They're going swinging their hands around in the air. When Cesaro does indeed go to leave, but he scoops Bobby Roode up by the legs, and he gets spun for about 25 rotations. And then he does the thing where he gets to his feet and starts wobbling around as Cesaro gives him a big uppercut, and he falls out the ring, retreats up the ramp, and Cesaro celebrates with the fans. 63, that's actually pretty good. I think it's the best Tegan and Kylie have done because they're actually facing recognisable people. But they defeat the Iconics, who I believe were on Raw up until now. I really don't fucking know with them, to be honest. There was a point in time where I did pencil them in to go back down to NXT after SummerSlam. But they're still here because I need to fill out my roster with X amount of women's tag teams. And also, the random feud generator put them against each other, in case you didn't see at the start of the show. Because I forgot to put it on for Raw, but the random feud for Raw was R-Truth versus Grand Metalik, and that's why they sort of had their thing. But yeah, the SmackDown one got me Billy Kay versus Peyton Royce, which of course it fucking did. That's like the 5th tag team breakup thing tried to do to me. But we're going to see the start of their arc later on tonight, but they lose to Smile and Shine, 48 for Kylie, 53 for Tegan, 47 for Billy, and a 60 for Peyton. Hello, I am Elias. I've got one question here for everybody here tonight. How is it that the Superstar Shake-Up comes and goes and Elias is taken away from his friends? You see, I'm more than capable of doing things by myself, but I had the A-list by my back and I know they had mine. But WWE decided that Elias had to walk by himself. But unfortunately for them, that's not true, because you all walk with Elias, right? Boo. Well, that's odd. Anyway, I've got a song about my solo career here on SmackDown, and I'm going to play it as long as you keep your mouth shut. And you start strumming.
Bro.
Matt Riddle is here. About a year later than you should have been, but we'll get to why shortly. And he's like, bro. And Riddle's like, can I help you? He's like, bro, you're so lame. You're just sitting there strumming your guitar. Where's the rock? Where's the rock and roll? And Elias is like, that's not my forte. What are you even doing here? And he's like, I came here to let everybody know I'm the newest member of the SmackDown roster, bro. And I'm not here to work with Elias. I'm here to rock with the bros, bro. And Elias is like, you're just a fucking idiot, aren't you? And he's like, hey, bro, don't take me lightly. I know I'm a chill dude and all that, bro, but I'll kick your teeth down your throat if you don't shut up about me. Elias is like, oh, I'd love to see you try. He swings a guitar at Riddle. Riddle ducks. Big knee. Elias gets dropped. And then the bro Derek lays out Elias. So Matt Riddle has finally arrived here on WWE. He probably should have been around a lot sooner, but there was a situation in the real world that put me off using him for a while. But in the eyes of the game and in the law of the law, he is all good to go to use now. I don't want to discuss it too much, but it's now at the point where even if it still looms over him a little bit, I feel comfortable using him in my game. I probably still won't push him to the very tip top because I'll be honest, I've got other people I need to push there first, and like I'll get more goals, so I don't know how high his ceiling will actually be, but I always had him down though. I didn't ever get rid of him because trying to put this as clearly, but also without actually mentioning any of the things. I don't want to say those words on YouTube, obviously. I am a bit more lenient with accusations like Riddle's than I was for Austin Theory and Velveteen Dream, etc. But again, in the eyes of the law, that's all been cleared up. He's no longer considered toxic in the current mods, so I feel comfortable bringing him in and booking him. Because he is a lot of fun to book. He's a good fun character to book. It was just that one thing was putting me off bringing him in sooner. But whether that's an issue or not, if it's still an issue for some people when they don't want to book him, then that's all well and good. But in my eyes, he's all good to use in this game. Pat McAfee's backstage. The resident correspondent has got a word with one of SmackDown's biggest shake-up signings, and that's the Juggernaut, Bloody Murphy. It's like, alright mate, good to see you. It's like, well, you've been a Raw guy pretty much since Seth Rollins, and you're a former WWE champion, and this is really a fresh start here for you. So what are your plans here on SmackDown? It's like, well, I see that you said I'm a former WWE champion, and that didn't really last as well as I wanted it to, right? And I'd quite like to get it back. But there are also other people. It's just a fresh start for me, really. And, you know, the new life on this show can breathe new life into Bloody Murphy. I may have been beaten by John Cena, but that's not going to hold me back, and I'm going to go balls out and show why I may not be the best kept secret anymore, but I'm still pretty damn best. And he turns to leave and he bumps into an old friend, Damian Priest, that's also been shaken up to SmackDown. He's like, alright buddy? Somebody's like, alright, mate, how you doing? Like, well, fancy that, we're both here on SmackDown after both being on Raw. Good luck here, friend. He's like, yeah, you too. Because these two never did have a falling out. Because Priest went off with Gargano, and Murphy stayed with Seth, and then they ended up both turning face. So they sort of would be, of the church clique, the ones that would still be friendly with each other. So they're just having a nice brief interaction backstage, let people know that they're both been shaken up to SmackDown. Fuck me. AE rated tag team match. Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio get a quick, well not quick, well it is actually quite quick, 6:41 over the Viking Raiders. Rey pins Ivar for 6:19. This right here has just confirmed to me that I believe I'm doing the right thing now. Because this match goes 6 minutes and 41 seconds, they've still gone 80. Whereas back in like Season 3, Season 2 era, I would have gone, oh, this is going to be a great match, let's make it go 12 minutes, blah blah blah. But no, it's only gone 6 minutes, a nice quick TV match, it still goes an 80. So you don't always have to have matches go. I know that is a habit a lot of other people fall into as well, it's not just me. But this should be your proof right here that you don't always have to have your TV matches go that long to get good ratings. 61 for Dominic, 80 for Rey, 69 for Eric, and a 78 for Ivar. Fuck me. Why is he so good? Then get a backstage segment with Bayley. Bayley sort of just vibing. She's not booked on the show tonight after her loss at SummerSlam. She's just sort of chilling and catering, headphones on, minding her own business. When Candice LeRae sits down on the table opposite her, and then Bayley sort of looks up. She's like, "Can I help you?" She's like, "Look at you, Bayley. You're so down on your luck. Do you get me? It's like looking in a mirror. You're so down on your luck. I'm down on my luck. I lost my tag team championship and my partner because my partner got shaken up to Raw. Now she's already off making new friends." And your friends, they betrayed you as well, didn't they, Bayley? We're both down our luck. We both used to be happy-go-lucky, but now we're sort of our own women. We're role models of our own. And Bayley's like, "What are you doing? What are you want about?" It's like, I'm seeing a connection here. I think us, me and you, this could be the way forward. Think about it. So Candice trying to get buddy with Bayley, it seems. Randy Orton is here, and he's talking about how at SummerSlam he got one over on that dastardly Big E, and how that was an important victory in Randy Orton's career because he needed to prove that he is not a stepping stone. He is the real deal, and he's still on top of this damn brand. Whether you like it or not, whether Big E likes it or not, whoever cares about it, and he will get back that WWE Championship. Sami Zayn better watch out, because Orton's coming for him. That's when Big E does come out, and he tries to chase Randy Orton, but Orton escapes and retreats through the crowd. And he's like, "You think this is over, Randy? Nah. You see, I beat you, you beat me. That's all well and good, but we're now one apiece. You don't get to move on from this like you're a winner when you're not a winner, Randy. Because that makes you a coward." Big pop. I know, of course, I don't like being called a coward. He's like, "So, unless you are a coward, I see we need to have the rubber match at No Mercy, Randy. What do you say to that? And of course Orton doesn't respond, he sort of just listens, looks on scowling, and leaves. Backstage in the Iconics' locker room, they're sort of changing out of their ring gear after their loss. You're like, mate, what are we doing wrong, Billy? And Billy's like, I don't fucking know. But what do you want about Peyton? Oh, nothing. It's like, we were the premier women's tag team here on WWE. They brought those titles in, the first thing they thought, oh, that'll be great for the Iconics. But now all these new women are just partnering up, and they're eclipsing us in the totem pole. Billy's like, what? You gotta be joking me. It's like, no, Billy, it's true. Maybe this Iconics thing, maybe it's not working out. And Billy's like, what? You want to start going to the gym? She's like, no. We're not working out. Billy's like, oh, you want to go to the gym together? Peyton's like, no, Billy, you're not listening. Maybe this team, maybe the Iconics aren't working out as a duo. Maybe it's time for us to go our separate ways, mate. And Billy's like, what? But we're besties. We're the greatest women's tag team on this roster. Babe, what are you suggesting? And Peyton just picks up her bag. He's like, I'm suggesting that maybe Peyton Royce is iconic. Maybe Billy Kay not so much. And then Peyton leaves. And Billy, I would say she shouts, you gotta be joking me, but that's kind of a humdinger. And we actually have to show her getting a bit emotional about that one. Mixed Match Challenge starts literally right after this. After SmackDown. And we're getting a brief rundown of the teams from the first matches. It will be, of course, Angel Garza and Raquel Gonzalez teaming together to face Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae. And then it will be Adam Cole and Toni Storm against Montez Ford and Bianca Belair. And they're all just giving brief little snippets as duos as to why they believe they're the best team. Because the winners of the Mixed Match Challenge will receive not only the money for the charity or whatever, but also a World and Women's Championship opportunity. Main event gets a 91, just a random thrown together match. This take back what I said about the Vikings versus the Mysterios. This is all the evidence you need. Because this match only went 11 minutes. Sami Zayn defeated Johnny Gargano 10-29 with a haluva kick. No storyline, 91. 87 for Johnny and an 80 for Sami Zayn. That's the WWE champion getting outscored by Johnny Gargano. And then Sami's cheering with the crowd. He picks up a microphone. He's like, oh, damn, it feels good. I'll be the first to admit it. I got lost in the vast wide ocean that is WWE. And year or so, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I'd have never, ever have thought I'd become WWE champion. I'd given up on that possibility of ever happening. That's why I became friends with Kevin and listened to Kevin and just hung around Kevin, because Kevin was always seen as the star of the team. But I'd accepted that. And that's why I went down the path I went down and sort of turned my back on all of you. But then I realised last year that Sami Zayn was never going to make it to the top, but maybe the old Sami Zayn, maybe that old Sami Zayn had what it took. And here we stand a year later. That Sami Zayn had what it took. And he's finally the top of WWE. He's got the WWE Championship, the championship that all of his idols held. And it does feel so sweet. Samoa Joe's music then hits. It's like, well, congratulations, Sami. You're right. That Sami Zayn was never going to be WWE Champion. And this one has done it. But he fluked it. This Sami can't be happy with how he's done it. And I'll tell you why, because you shouldn't have done it the way you did, Sami. You shouldn't have pissed me off and taken my championship, because now you're going to go down the history books. You're going to have a 12-day championship reign. Because next week I'm getting my rematch. Sami Zayn, Samoa Joe 2, WWE Championship on the line. And Sami's like, well, I'd rather lose valiantly as a hero than be a coward and hold this thing for months, Joe. You're on. WWE Championship. I've earned this championship once. I need to prove that I deserve to keep it. So that's our main event. 2 World Championship matches set for next week. You've got Drew McIntyre and Jeff Hardy on Raw, and Sami Zayn versus Samoa Joe on SmackDown. And then the little SmackDown credit pops up in the bottom right corner as we close the show. But we are a year behind, people. We've got a lot of catching up to do. Because Kayla still pestering on that door like she's Sheldon Cooper. Bang, bang, bang. Bang, bang, bang. Bang, bang, bang. And then finally she gets an answer. And it isn't Roman Reigns that opens the door. Paul Heyman. And he's like, "Can I help you?" She's like, "Mr. Heyman, I was hoping for a word with Roman Reigns." And he's like, "You wanted a word with Roman Reigns. Okay, well, come and speak to him. He's ready for you now." And she awkwardly walks in. She looks around all scared, like this is the intimidating locker room she's been kept out of all night. And Roman's just vibing in the chair. The Usos stood either side of him, Jacob Fatu behind him. And he sort of looks at her, and she's like, "I wanted to ask why you did what you did to Seth Rollins at SummerSlam." She puts the mic out to his mouth, and he just stares at her, doesn't say anything, and looks at Paul Heyman, sort of jogged his head towards the door, and he's like, "I'm so sorry. The tribal chief would like you to leave his room." She's like, "But I didn't even get to answer anything." And then he just points to the door. He's like, "I said the tribal chief would like you to leave his locker room." And Kayla, of course, doesn't argue. She leaves. And then we just get a nice camera shot of Roman's angry face as the show goes off the air. 91 overall rated show. That's because of that banging main event. And of course, what matters more than 91 is what you thought of the show. So do let me know what you thought in the comments below. And I actually won't see you for Raw because I'm going to quickly cut away and we'll get back with the Mixed Match Challenge. We are back. Mixed Match Challenge time. First episode of the Mixed Match Challenge. And we start off with an 88 rated segment. It's just a Raw recap because I need to fill time because the show is still an hour. I can't be bothered to move it. So we'll be getting these every week. But in reality, it will just be like the half an hour like it was in real life just after SmackDown. So just a quick Raw recap featuring these Raw feuds that advanced on the show. We then get the opening video package hyping up Raquel Gonzalez and Angel Garza against Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae. I guess each team just sort of having their chance to like be unscripted and show the chemistry they have with each other. Basically, is what these segments are going to be because I think that'll be the most fun part of the Mixed Match Challenge as it is. Seeing how the teams I've created interact with each other. And then, yes, the match happens. The first match of the Mixed Match Challenge gets an 82. Raquel and Angel Garza defeat The Way when Raquel pins Candice LeRae with a big boot. 77 for Garza, 60 for Raquel, 68 for Candice, and an 84 for Johnny Gargano. SmackDown recap, same as the Raw one. Hype for next week's edition of Mixed Match Challenge then occurs, as people see John Morrison and Frankie Monet of the A-List husband and wife team up against Tegan Nox and Big E. We'll also see Bray Wyatt and Susie against Cesaro and Bayley. Then, as we did earlier on, Adam Cole and Toni Storm get a chance to be dickheads together. Montez Ford and Bianca Belair, we know the chemistry they've got. The main event gets an 81. The Babyface team wins. Bianca Belair pins Toni Storm with a KOD in 14:24. 59 for Toni Storm, 77 for Adam Cole, 71 for Bianca Belair, and a 69 for Montez Ford. And that ends the first episode of Mixed Match Challenge, which gets an 84. And now, with this and the SmackDown rating, what matters more than them is what you thought of the show. And now, this time, I will see you next time for Raw. See you then.